Hello and welcome to the trade setup. In this video we are looking at Palantir. It is time for another update, and on this chart we are tracking a pretty simple larger time frame structure with a double 1-2 setup that has occurred in this area, and now we are tracking the larger third wave that would be developing to the upside. And within this wave 3 I believe it is actually still possible to be well within it, where we only have a wave 1 and 2 complete yet, and we would now be still probably in the third wave to the upside, the internal wave 3 of this larger structure. Now within this pattern we are looking to be towards the end of it at this point, where I am considering a few different scenarios, but there is still the possibility that we might have already topped, and in that case we would be looking for a correction in a wave 4 in the area between the $113 level all the way down to the $63.4 level. But within the last few videos we have been exploring different interpretations that could actually still allow further continuation to the upside. Now in that idea I would be considering it possible that this could be something like a 1-2. This could be a third wave that might still be ongoing. Different interpretations are possible within this idea. And in that case, we could still find, even after we form here an additional high, and after a more significant correction, an additional fifth wave to still follow to the upside to take us to even higher highs. Now internally within this structure we are focusing on something like an ABC pattern within the third wave to the upside, the internal wave 3, where the wave C is developing as an ending diagonal. There is also an interpretation possible. I do want to make it clear that after we have here a 1-2, we have here a third wave up, here is a fourth wave down, and then an ABC pattern is possible within the fifth wave. In that case we would actually see a top within the next push to the upside, where we form a new all-time high most likely, and we may have a top at that point. So we need to be extremely cautious, especially after we form this additional high, because that could be an area where we find a top within this wave 3. We will continue to track the idea of finding support in a follow-up wave 4 internally that could still allow for another push in the fifth wave afterwards. But if that support zone fails, we will have to default to the larger time frame and track the larger structure that at the moment is in this area. If we form a new top, it will need a slight adjustment, but it will most likely be much further away than what we would expect for an internal correction within this structure. Now it is unfortunately not clear which of these patterns we really may be developing, but at this point I suppose I could even add this interpretation quickly to the chart, and let's use the blue scenario for this. And within this yellow interpretation we would still follow up in higher highs, where internally we are tracking a wave 1 up here, a wave 2 down, a third wave up. This would be a fourth wave down, in which we pushed actually quite deep below the 61.8% retracement. Not ideal even within a diagonal structure, but then we would be looking here for a fifth wave to develop, and this we would expect to be also an ABC structure or something like that, maybe a larger A wave, a deeper wave B, and then a C wave to follow. Doesn't need to be an exact length or structure. We are looking for a general ABC pattern to develop. Now another possibility that would still allow further extensions, where this fifth wave, or where within this wave we would get just a 5-wave structure in a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and it is done, would be the idea that this third wave that we have marked as a top here would be extended. Not my preferred interpretation, at least at this point. I would need further evidence for that, but in either case, in all of these ideas that would allow further extensions to the upside, we would end up having an extremely similar support zone after we form a new high in this area. And I have presented also all these ideas, maybe not the blue scenario, but I have presented these ideas in the previous videos as well. Now internally, what we have been tracking in this area, since we managed to break above the resistance here with this push of a third wave, was a 1-2. We were looking here at a third wave top and a fourth wave correction. It seems we may have reset here the internal, this wave 3, and we may be looking even at a reset here in a wave 4, since we did push and form an additional low. So I will slightly adjust the support zone now. Not a significant adjustment, but I suppose it is appropriate. And now we could be looking at a possible wave 4 bottom, and even a possible initial 5-wave structure to the upside. Now keep in mind, it is on an extremely small time frame. It is very fragile, but I am able to consider this a 1, 2, 3, 4th and a 5th that have formed. For now, we are trending sideways and there is no confirmation that we have topped in this area. But if we manage indeed to form a retracement from this point, I would consider looking for a correction here for a wave B. And it is for a wave B because also this structure, even if it is developing in 5 waves, it is a diagonal pattern, okay? And we are expecting an ABC pattern even within this 5th wave to the upside. And in this case, I would be looking to find support in such a pattern in the area between the $179.6 level all the way down to the $173 level at the 78.6% retracement. Now, if we manage to push directly higher, it could still work out into a similar way. We may get an additional high in this area. Maybe even this internal wave A is developing as a leading diagonal and this turns into an ABC, where the wave B could be, for example, a triangle. But in general, I would be looking for a retracement in this area, and if we manage to do so while keeping a 5-wave structure, this would be an actually pretty interesting additional area of confirmation of support for an entry to follow in a 5th wave, or in a wave C to the upside. And keep in mind, the ideal target for a wave C is the 100% extension of the wave A, but unfortunately at this point we don't have a confirmation that the wave A has topped, let alone that the wave B has bottomed, so I can't give you that target just yet. But I suppose we could be looking for some targets that could be appropriate for the 5th wave to the upside in this follow-up move, where I would probably be looking at the first target around the $196 level. That does seem pretty okay for a target, but those are pretty rough estimates, not very clear generally for a 5th wave where it will end up. It is generally more easier, it is easier to estimate based on the internal structure that would develop in this area, and we will track this closely. And once we have a bottom here, if we start a correction, we will be looking for the ideal target at that point, and even in the internal structure of a follow-up wave C, we may be looking for such an idea. And for now, these are the levels. This is the trade setup. I hope you enjoyed the video, and if you did, don't forget to subscribe and let me know what else you want me to cover, and I'll do my best to do that in the days and weeks ahead. And until then, I hope you have a nice day, and I hope to see you in the next video. Bye bye.